Hi guys, this is Pestily and welcome to another Escape from Tarkov video. In this video, I'm going to talk about the flea market. This whole guide is totally aimed for people that are either new to the game or just wanting to find out every little last bit to be able to be more proficient with the flea market. So guys, without further ado, let's crack straight into it. So the flea market is located under trading. You go at the top and you click the flea market button. There's a few things to take note from this screen. You got your browse, wish list, and offers over here. And these are the actual filters you currently have on. So for me, I currently just have on remove barter trades. You can make it so it remembers your filters by clicking this button. And you can change all the filters in here. After that, you've got all the items here that you are searching for. If you want to drop down something, say the mechanical keys, and you can go through each individual item. It's a pretty self-explanatory method just to be able to go, okay, I want to look up G phone. So you'll type in phone, there's the G phone there, and then you can purchase it. You can search each item by the rating here of the actual trader rep of the person selling it. It's not really a very useful thing until you're actually looking for specific items. So say you're looking for the AK-105 and you've clicked here to search by low to high. Now, the main reason trader rep actually works out really well is if you actually search by trader rep into the high margin, you'll actually see here there's already AK-105s made. Now, this guy here is selling for 230,000. I'm not exactly sure, I'd have to double check, but when they're set up like this, it pretty much means it's good to go for the gunsmith task. So you'd have to double check. Sometimes it won't be, but this is the easiest way to be able to find out some of the gunsmith tasks, which one. When you are up to the actual gunsmith through mechanic, when you're up to the one with the AK-105, there's a good way of finding out which one's already there. Because these guys with a higher trader rating have traded lots of items, and therefore they're usually flipping a lot of items throughout the flea market. Now you might be curious of what the actual trader rating means, and I'll bring across the wiki page here. It's the easiest way to explain it. Now, depending on where you are sitting with your trader rep is how many offers you can put up for sale. So if you go into a negative trader rating, and the way you lose trader rating is if you put up items and they don't sell, or you put up items and you cancel them. So if you lose trader rep and you go under 0.0, you'll go down to only one offer. As soon as you hit 0.2, you go to 3 offers, 10, you'll go to 4 offers, and it just keeps climbing from there. Last wipe, I didn't put a lot of effort into the flea market, and by the end of me playing the game, probably, I don't know, maybe 300 or 400 hours over the wipe, I was sitting around the 100 to 150 mark, so I could put up 15 items up for sale. If you just put up items as you find them, you will go up eventually to the 0.2 and the 10. You quite quickly get up to the 3, 4, and 5 section. Once you want to go up to the really big section, it does take a fair bit of money. Now, to my understanding, to increase your trader rep, it's around 1 million rubles for 0.1 of a trader rep. So 10 million for 1 point, 100 million for 10 points, and 1 billion rubles for 100 points. But I'm not exactly sure where it sits on the actual trader rep. It does take a long time to get up to the really high numbers, and guys that are constantly putting money through will actually get their reps up quite easy. But the secret to actually raising your rep really quickly is to try and sell items that are expensive and not worry about cheaper items. So an example of this would be putting eye cases up for sale. Every time you can buy another eye case, even if you're only making a few thousand rubles profit, that large amount of money that's going through the flea market is actually going to increase your trader rating faster than putting items up for sale that are quite cheap. Now, there's things to take note when putting items up for sale as well. If you go here and just say, I'm going to put this cat up for sale. Now, the average price, if you go filter by item, the average price of the cat, or the cheapest price of a cat, is around the 49,000 ruble mark. So if I go to put it up for 49,000 rubles, you'll see that the tax fee is 2,400 rubles. Now, if I was going to sell this to therapists, I think it's around the 35,000 ruble mark. So you can see that finding a cat right now, 35 plus 2.5, so you look at it 37.5. So you're making about 12,000 rubles profit by selling this item up in the flea market, if it sells, of course. But if you were to put this item up for sale even more expensive, it actually puts the tax up on a incremental scale. So the way the incremental scale works is if you put it under the median price of an item on the flea market, it will actually tax you more. And then when it gets to the median price, it will tax it the least. And then when you put it at a higher price than the medium, it will put it up even more expensive. So an example of this, right? So if I put it up on the flea market for 20,000 rubles, if I put it up on the flea market for 1,000 rubles, it's going to get taxed at 3,700. If I put it up for 20,000 rubles, we're at 1,900. Then we put it up for 40,000 rubles, 2,100. So this is sitting around the median price. If we put it up for 100,000, we're up to 4,000 rubles. But then if we put it up for, say, 1,000,000, the simple answer would be, it's like you would think it'd be at 40,000 rubles, but no, it's at 63. And this is to stop people trying to influence the flea market to like change the prices of items. I made a big video previously about manipulating the trade market, and Battlestate Games listened and they took away the dynamic trade prices from the traders, but they also put this in place to prevent market inflation by the player base. So people deliberately trying to force prices up of specific items on the flea market. So it's a good thing. So the way to just take note of, if you're actually going to be selling items, just you want to be putting it around the cheaper price, but don't try and put items up for a stupid high price, because it's going to just waste too much money on tax. Now, I'm not going to show you how to flip items from traders onto the flea market. There's plenty of videos out there from other people, and to be honest, I don't really have enough time on the flea market this wipe to show which ones are worthwhile. But what I will show you now is how to actually trade an item between yourself and a friend, because the flea market has prevented you, or taken away the requirement of going into the raid to trade an item with a mate. So say you want to get an item, say you want an LEDX from a mate. You, the person who wants the item, buys the splint. You go here, you type in LEDX, and then you go here. Then he searches the splint on the flea market, and then he buys your splint for an LEDX. Now, you're going to lose 6,300 rubles for the fee there, but it's a safe way of not having to go into a raid, try and hand it over in a raid, lose it through a floor, and that kind of things happening. So this happens a lot. I get questions, people asking me if it's allowed to happen. It is. It's perfectly fine. Don't stress about that. And the other thing that I do sometimes, particularly when I want to get money, like crowdfunding for particularly doing expensive videos, testing certain things out. If you want to get money off a mate, say he was to put up a splint for 1,000,000 rubles, right? It's going to cost 166,000 in tax, right? Which is horrible. You're going to lose, a solid 840. You only get 840 of the 1,000,000 rubles. But what you can do is you can select multiple items, and put it in a bundle. And then that way you've reduced the tax. You got to find out the tipping point of when splints are actually costing money. But the other option to do is you can actually just put them all up and say, you put them up for 25,000, or say 26,000. Now you need to put 40 up instead, but you're only actually going to be paying a lot lower fee. You're going to be paying a lot lower fee than the 180,000 to put the 50 splints up. But then you need to take into account the cost of the splints themselves. So you just need to find that balancing point. But that way you won't be putting as much money through as tax. And obviously he can sell those splints on the other side, or use them. Another thing I want to cover here is the premium offers. So these premium offers are people trying to get you to buy them because they'll see them first. And it might even trick you into buying something that's more expensive than you wouldn't want to normally pay. So firstly, watch out for people putting items up for €1,000 or $2,000. That's going to try and trick you into paying way too much. $2,000 is like 200,000 rubles. That is a ridiculous amount to pay for Salewa. You can actually find cheap deals on the flea market. So Therapist price is 13,558 for a Salewa, and you can get full Salewas for less than this price at times, because people will find these things on labs or something and have an excess amount. And IFAC's usually a pretty good example.
Like an example with the IFAC here, you've got the IFAC that sells from Therapist for 17,000, but this guy's selling 10 of them for 16,900. This guy's got 14 up for 16,800, and even up here you can get 15 for 14,500. You actually save a lot of money here by buying certain meds from the flea market instead of traders. The last thing I want to cover is to do with modding. Now, when you're modding a gun and you're trying to figure out what the hell mods go on it, you can literally just click on the M4 and go linked search. Now, the linked search, this is going to actually select the mods that can go on the primary part of the M4, being the receiver. And you can see here that you can pick, the stocks for the rear of it. You got magazines, charging handles, vital parts being like the pistol grip and receivers over here. And then obviously the ammo as well. But then what you can also do is if you actually double click on it and then you go to the upper receiver, you can go link search on that, and then that will show you the mounts that can go on it. So if you want to put lasers on it, sights on it, and also barrels and handguards. So you can actually find all the parts that are linked to that gun, because right now this is an absolute clusterfuck. Going to a trader, going to a mechanic and going, all right, so now I'm going to buy parts for the M4. Shit, which ones are for the M4? Like, they did do these filters to make it a little bit easier to find specific items, but it's still an absolute clusterfuck. Personally, what I would like to see here is like you can literally either put your gun up here and it will actually say all the mods that could go on it, or you could literally have just like a drop down here and say what type of weapon you're buying mods for, and then hopefully it would be able to show you. But that's well down. They're gonna have all that stuff, I'm sure of it. Let's hope. But anyway, so that's everything I've got for this video, guys. So thanks for watching another video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for future content. I put out guides all the time. If you're new to the game, feel free to hit me up in the comments down below or on my live stream. I do stream on Twitch every day of the week, so go down the link below, give me a follow over there. And lastly, guys, I'll see you next time. When the night was young, I forgot the next line. I'm just gonna go to the one that I really know. So darling, darling, stand by me.